There are two kinds of people in this world. Either you're doing things you know you shouldn't, or you're not doing things you know you should. Guess what? We're both. Hi, I'm Marcy Barker, life and business coach, aka your loving kick in the pants. This podcast is here to help you become accountable with aligned action and become boss-minded while growing a business without sacrificing what matters most. Let's dive in. Good morning, my beautiful people. It's been a while. We took a little bit of a break from the podcast, but I think it's safe to say we're on season 6 or 7. If you guys have kids, you probably heard 6, 7 a million times, which I think it's funny, but if you don't know what it is, that's fine, because it means absolutely nothing. Okay, I'm recording a podcast today. Normally I don't do it this way, but it's been a while and I need to. And this podcast is going to be a little bit more personal. Like, my biggest reason for sharing this story is to document it, but also I know that you guys can relate to situations like this, and when situations like this happen, it's really tempting to question a lot about yourself. So I want to share this today, and hopefully it benefits you, even if you're like, okay, that kind of stuff doesn't just happen to me. Okay, so this goes back a couple of months. Okay, a long time ago I had an event. I do events. You guys know that I do events. And I had somebody come to my house. We hit it off. It was great. She became a client. She became a friend. She came to a lot of events, and I introduced her to more people, as I do. I'm always trying to help people grow their business. So my community is a point of connection for a lot of people. So this person I also liked, because I invited her to personal events. Like, I have a friend bunko group. It's not business. It's not for me to find clients. It's literally for me to have fun. And I like to invite people there who I like. I like. And so there's this person that I thought we were friends. When I would see her at different other people's events, I'd say hi, and everything was fine. I went to lunch with a friend, and she said, "Are you going to this person's baby shower? Because I met her through you. Are you going?" And I said, "No, I didn't know there was anything going on. I haven't heard anything." And my friend was like, "Oh, maybe they forgot. Maybe this, maybe that." And I was like, "Maybe. That it's fine." I'm not big on baby showers anyway, but I will always buy diapers for people, because I'm not going to go shop and find cute baby clothes, but I know that diapers are always needed. So anyway, but I'm not dying to go to showers. So anyway, left that alone. But then another friend asked me, "Are you going to this person's baby shower?" And I was like, "No." I guess there's a theme here, that a lot of people I introduced her to were invited and I wasn't invited. So it's just it's fine, but it's just interesting how I was only made aware of it because of people I introduced her to. So anyway, fast forward to that. I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I absolutely love it. And one of my favorite parts about life and sharing the gospel is being a missionary. So I go out with the full-time missionaries as often as possible. They call me and they say, "Hey, we have a lesson we want you to come to." And I said, "Perfectly fine. I'm more than happy to." So I meet this person. Her life is a mess. And she had a business coach who said, "You need to contact the missionaries in your area." So we got connected, and I'm like, "I'm here to help you. You're not alone. These things are figure outable. And as long as you communicate with me, we can get you out of these situations." So after the lesson, we connected on Facebook, and we realized we had message history. She wanted to be a part of an event I was hosting in the past. I sent her the information to help, and I never heard from her. So it was just an interesting point that we had recognized we were already on the pathway to being connected. So this person, she needs a lot of help, and I'm also meeting with other people with the missionaries, and like I said, I love it, but when people are in dire need, I have to set boundaries in my own life, because I can help people a lot. I go above and beyond. I have a big mouth. I have a way of making things happen And I have learned from the past I have to have boundaries or else I will completely go unbalanced, if you will. So this person said, hey, I need help on Saturday. Can you please take me to Walmart? And I said, I can drop you off, but I can't stay there. That was me setting a boundary because I'm not going to be a personal chauffeur for somebody. But I said, what else can I help you with? And she said, I really need a bike. I need my bike fixed so I can get to work. It's less than a mile away. And I said, perfect. I'll come by and I'll pick up your bike and I'll see if we can fix it. So I pick up her bike and I ask my husband to help me. And we look at her bike. The brakes are broken. The gears are completely gone. The chain is on, but links are messed up and it's completely rusted out. The seat's all torn up. And I was like, this bike is garbage. This bike is not even worth fixing. So I get onto Facebook. I'm just laying in bed trying to go to bed and my mind won't stop. Like, I did not want to tell her, like, sorry, I couldn't do anything with your bike. So I made a post on Facebook in some Facebook groups. And I said, hey, is there anybody out there that has a bike? Because I'm trying to help this newly single mom. She's trying to get her life together. Her next immediate need is a bike that she can get to work. Is there anybody out there? And I said, wishful thinking, I'm taking her to Walmart tomorrow. Maybe we can put something together so I can get her a new bike. And I went to bed. And I woke up with Venmo donations. And I woke up with personal text messages of my friends who were willing to donate money. And I was so grateful for that. And even being the middleman of getting help is very humbling because you see that people come through to you. So I was like, okay, we might have enough money to get her a bike. There was another lady on Facebook that she just kept hounding me. She's like, I have bikes. Come and look at these bikes. And I'm kind of like, I would rather get her a new bike if that's possible, but I'm not going to rule it out because if these money donations come in, we can help her some other ways. Anyway, needless to say, I broke my boundaries and I spent all day Saturday figuring this out. So I drive across town. I put my bike rack on the car. I drive across town, pick up these bikes. And this lady was like, these bikes are over 20 years old, but they're good. We only rode them a few times. And I was like, okay, we'll do what we can with them. None of the bikes were rideable, unfortunately. Yes, they were good brands and they needed just a little bit of work, but I was like, I need something that's rideable right now for this person. But the lady who donated 3 bikes, she's like, I've been meaning to donate these for years. So I take them, I put them on my bike rack, I drive around. There is a yard sale with a guy selling there's a bike. And I said, is there anything wrong with this bike? Is it rideable? And he said, I just pumped up the tires. I did everything. And I just haven't checked the gears. And I said, let me hop on it real quick, check the gears. Works fine. I used donated funds to buy this bike. And so now I have 4 bike options for this mom. So I get to her house and I was like, I'm sorry I could not fix your bike, but I have these options for you. And this one works perfectly. It's a men's bike. You're a little short, but hopefully it will work. And so her little son is like, I want a bike. I want a bike. I want a bike. And I just was like, oh, okay. There was one bike that she could put him on the back of it. But I told her, I said, let me see what we can do, and whisper to her, like, let's see if we can get him a bike too. So I texted another friend who, before he's like, I can donate something. And I said, I think we're good on the bikes. And I texted him again. I said, you know what? If you donate a little bit more, I think we'll be able to get a bike for her son. And immediately he sends over money. And I'm just like, that's so kind. So we go to Walmart. And before I told her I could only drop her off, but now I have all these bikes on the back and I'm just like, you know what? She needs help. We're going to figure it out. Me and my daughter, we go to the bike section with her son and we look at the kid bikes, and I have not purchased a kid bike in a long time. We had not enough money. And I felt really bad because the kid's like, I want this one. I was like, sorry, there's not enough money. And setting boundaries, I'm not going to just swipe my credit card for everything. Especially when I was donating of my time and my energy. I just had to set that boundary because, again, I can get very imbalanced if I go too all in. Hey, my beautiful people. If you're loving these episodes, you'll want the full experience. I've bundled both of my books, The Accountability Code and Becoming Boss Minded, into one powerful package. You'll get instant access to the audiobooks and ebooks so you can learn and grow anytime, anywhere. Head to bossminded.com and grab the book bundle now. It's the perfect way to stay inspired between episodes. All right, let's dive back in. And so I go back to the mom. She's working with somebody at a register, figuring out her cell phone situation, trying to change numbers because it's a bad situation. So I tell her, I say, hey, sorry, we don't have enough for a bike for your son. And the cashier said, who needs a bike? I have a bike. I have a brand new BMX bike. How old is your son? And she says age, and she's like, I got you. I got a brand new bike. Let me give you my contact information. I'll give it to you. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But we all started crying. We all started crying together. And I said, okay, I'm going to use this money and let's buy you a helmet. Let's buy you a bike lock. Let's buy you a pump. I said, but I'm only going to buy you a helmet if you wear it. And I was like, you and I, we are concussion girlies. We've had concussions. You're going to wear a helmet. And she's like, I will wear a helmet. So we get her all this stuff. I wait around for her to figure out her phone situation, and I'm reminded of what it's like to be around little kids. And so afterwards I take her home, and I was like, I have these bikes on the back of my car, and I can't park in my garage with bikes on my car. So anyway, I was like, I'm gonna figure out how to donate these right now. So I looked it up. There's a place that when I made my post on Facebook, people had recommended I go check out this place because they do give free bikes, but it was the weekend, it was closed, and so I donated the bikes to that place. And when I was in the middle of donating these bikes, I get a text message from another friend who I introduced to that other friend, and she said, I'm at the shower, where are you at? Because we're also friends and we communicate when we're going to different events. If we're going to be at the same place at the same time, we make it a point to communicate with each other, and we're excited to see each other there. So I just was like, here's yet another person that assumed I would be there because I'm the one that made the connections. I'm not going to claim I made all the connections, but I am that's what I do for people. So I just was like in the middle of serving, doing all this, and I get the text, and I just was like, oh my gosh. So I call my friend because at this point I've kind of had it. I've kind of been like, I have to tell somebody, like, I wasn't invited. I wasn't invited to this shower. So I called my friend and I said, hey, it's not a big deal. Keep it on the down low, but I wasn't invited. That's why I'm not there. But I realized, Heavenly Father helped me realize I was not invited because I needed to be somewhere else that day. And had I been invited, I would have been too busy to serve. I would have been too busy to put time with the missionaries on my calendar because I would have already been dedicated to who I thought was a friend. And I was very humbled to put together the piece of this person having a baby shower is being blessed by connections I have made for her, even though I was excluded. It's the same skill and same strength that is blessing this newly single mom who's trying to change her situation, where we were able to get funds donated because of my connections. This person wouldn't have been able to come into a new town and make a post on Facebook and get people to donate to her because there's not any trust there. And so I was just very grateful for that. And a few weeks ago I put on my Facebook, like, what would you do? Would you go confront somebody and then process it in therapy, or would you just go talk about it in therapy and that's it? And a lot of people are like, go confront her, or let it go, or it's therapy, or blah 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 blah. Because I was really like, should I confront this person who didn't invite me and be like, is there something wrong I did? I thought we were friends. But it's like, I've been used to being rejected before, but I could always tell that there was a reason why maybe somebody would exclude me when I'm so inclusive to so many people. But I was just like, she's pregnant. Like, I don't think there's enough of a reason to make this about me, so I'm just going to let it be. And I did not book a therapy call. I did not confront her. There's a fat chance somebody sees this podcast and says something. But I, again, am trying to have balance where I let things go and I turn to the Lord instead. And that's what happened in this situation. And it still is not completely done, because I've talked to other people who were like, oh, yeah, I have some information. It's like, it's not even that big a deal. But my brain wants a few answers so that I don't start making up stories. And on the other hand, I'm like, I can just let things go and be grateful for the skills and talents that God has blessed me with and continue to listen to what I should be doing. Now, again, the reason I share this is because I know that being rejected or excluded is a common experience in womanhood, of people wanting friends, wanting a community, wanting people to call and lean on. And when you don't have that or you're excluded from that, it hurts. And I have never, ever wanted to be the kind of person who has a pity party, because I am extremely blessed with so many friends and so many contacts and people who do care about me, that I just have to make sure that I am aware of that and I don't do anything crazy. I mean, because in the past I have known people who have excluded me or taken advantage of my network and my skills. If they ever cross me, I'm like, I'm done with you. I'm completely done with you. But I'm not sure I'm at that point right now. I just am reminded of the blessings that come from me having those strengths, and I'm not going to let it get me down. Like, if I can bless somebody and they have a whole group of friends because of me and it doesn't have anything to do with me, I think I'm okay with that. I'm not saying that it doesn't hurt, but it's still worth it. The risk is worth the reward. And if I can take that exact same skill set and continue to bless people who need it and who are grateful for it, it's like, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it. So it is just kind of, I mean, there are still unanswered questions in my head, but I had to share that to document it, because if you guys ever get into a situation where you're excluded and you feel like you've done a lot for somebody and they've like gone out of their way to make sure you're not invited, it's okay. It doesn't say anything about what you should go do in the future. I'm sure they have their reasons, but those reasons are not my business. I'm just going to keep doing my thing. And for every one person who excludes me or isn't grateful for the connections I've given them, there's 50 more people who are. And for somebody who is prideful and egotistical, every once in a while I have to be reminded. I have to be reminded of my work is beneficial, and I also have to be humbled about connecting people for the right reasons. Like, am I connecting all of these people so that when they have a party in the future, I'm going to make sure I'm invited? No, that's not why I do it at all. So anyway, again, I wanted to share this, one, to document it, because it really was a testimony builder to me that I was where I was supposed to be, even though getting into that situation happened in very unexpected ways. And I want to continue being open to the possibilities of what God has in store for me, instead of me assuming I'm in control of every part and connection that I make. So anyway, thanks for letting me share that. And again, I want you to know, if you have ever been through situations like these, do your best to just keep being you, because I'd rather be rejected for who I am instead of accepted for being somebody else, period. So I'm here for you, even if I'm in your life just for a short time and you want to kick me out of your life. I will do everything in my power to be okay with that, because you got to do what's right for you, and I will just continue living in my strengths and trying to be where God wants me to be. So thank you for tuning in. And I'll see you next week for another episode of Your Loving Kick in the Pants. Thanks for tuning in, friend. If this episode gave you value, don't just keep it to yourself. Share it with someone in your circle who's ready to wake up, show up, and grow their business without sacrificing what matters most.
When you do, you're not just helping them, you're building your network of like-minded leaders. And I'll say this plainly, leaving a kind review matters more than you know. It helps more people find the show and it keeps the momentum going. So pause for a moment and please drop that review. Lastly, if there's a topic you want me to cover, I want to hear from you. Reach out because this podcast is for you and I'm here to serve. Until next time, stay boss-minded.